Section. Hello my gorgeous friends on the internet, how you're doing? Okay, so in this section we are going to look at Firebase setup. Okay, we're going to set up, connect our app into Firebase, and also we are going to add Alt, Firestore, and storage setup. Okay, but before we do that, I missed some steps in the previous section, okay, because I skipped the permission, like setting up permissions and every necessary things. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add the permissions that are needed. Okay, so first thing, you're going to open up your Android manifest file, which is after you collapse the Android directory, apps, socks, and you're going to see it. And inside here, we are just going to paste this guy. Okay, you're going to paste it here, which is the permission for Android. So we are going to need permissions to write external storage, to read from external storage, and also permission for the internet. Okay, and then secondly, we are going to add two things, which is request legacy external storage, and also we are going to add enable on callback invoke. All right, so this one is needed for the work manager. Okay, so the next thing we are going to add now is for the iOS part, which is inside our info.plist file. We are going to be adding a new we're going to be adding permissions to request for the photos when the user wants to pick, because we have the image picker, right? So the image picker, which is this one, I think it's somewhere around here, right? It's needed when users want to pick and open up their phone storage. Okay, so we are going to add this guy here, and once this is added, we are still going to come back here to add something else, because we are using Google Auth, right? We're going to come back here to add something else after we have completed the Firebase integration. Okay, but so that is everything. No, something else is missing. So most times I notice when I use Firestore, right, and I'm trying to build my app for the first time, right, after adding Firestore, I normally see some errors, right? Mostly is relating to gRPC core. Okay, so what I usually do is to add there's this stuff fix that I got from Stack Overflow. Okay, so I normally add this, and so it depends on when you are watching this video or when you're trying to work on your own, you might encounter this error, but I don't know, some other persons might not encounter it, but in my own case, I actually encountered it. So the version might be different, but you will receive a warning, right, and a suggestion, maybe a possible version that you need to upgrade to. Okay, so that's pretty much it, and then you go ahead and run your pub-get or pod install again, and everything will be set up for you. All right, now let's get back to Firebase and make sure that you are actually in the right account by doing Firebase login in your terminal. It's going to give you the right account that you are currently connected to. If you are connected to the wrong account, you can just do Firebase logout, and it's going to log you out. Then you can do Firebase login again, and to log you in and give you option to select the account that you want to log in into. So back to our Firebase console, make sure that you have created an account or signed in using the email that is also connected to your project. Okay, so once that is done, in case you don't have access to Flutter Fire, there's a video I did. I'm going to give you access to it, like by putting it in the comment section, okay, or the description. Okay, so here we're going to have our Wallpaper app as the name. Okay, and we are going to click on continue and just select the default account here. Okay, and then just proceed. Right, everything is set up and our project is ready. It's going to give you some few seconds and everything is set up. You can see our project, but now no app has been registered. Okay, so one thing I normally do when I'm using Google Auth is to first of all enable Google authentication, right? So once I enable it, I will now go ahead and connect our app to Firebase, because as it is now, it has not been connected to Firebase. Okay, so once you do that, we are going to be using Google authentication, right? So you click on enable and select this guy and save. Okay, so let it just do its magic, and while the magic is running, we can now go back to our project and try to set up what is needed. Okay, so go to your project and we are going to set up Flutter Fire. So in case you don't know, you don't have Flutter Fire or how to set up the CLI, you can go started right here. Okay. All right, so you're going to get started right here. You're going to see CLI. From here, you can now install Firebase tool. Make sure you have NPL. Install Firebase tool. Install that globally. And once this is done, you'll be able to use this command Flutter Fire configure. Okay, you'll be able to use the command. So it's just like a straightforward something, right? You don't need to do much. So just give it some few seconds, and it's going to give us option to select the project that we want to connect to. Once that is done, you select your platform. You can select anyone, right? It's going to generate for all of them. So let's just give it some few seconds to run, and then we can proceed to other things. All right, so we can just click yes. All right, so once you click yes, everything will be set up, and you can see our Firebase app file has been created. We have Firebase option created. We also have a lot of things. The Google services JSON file created. We also have inside the Android collapse this. Okay, yeah, Google services.json created. We also have Google services info.plist file already created. Okay, so we need to register this reverse client ID because it will be needed when you're doing Google authentication or anything, right? So what we want to do now is to go to your info.plist file basically. So I normally have this guy that I normally copy. So let's go to our info.plist file, where we have the CF bundle file. I think it's around here. It's not here. So most times your project, maybe you have far gone, you might add it, but if it's not here, feel free to add it. So I just have this guy. I'm going to grab it instead of like doing it one after the other. Okay, I'm going to grab this guy. You can see here it has its own key, which is CF bundle key, right? This is the key, CF bundle URI type, and we have the reverse ID. So this one is incorrect. It's from a previous project. So what we are going to do is to go to your Google services info.plist file and copy the reverse client ID, not the client ID, the reverse client ID. Okay, you copy this and you can now go back to your info.plist file. We are going to replace it with this one. So that's pretty much what you need. And once this is set up, we can now go back to our Firebase app, okay? And from here, I'm going to register one other thing. Let me refresh this. I'm going to register our signature key, right? The SHA key, because it will be needed when we want to make requests to Firebase. Without that, it's not possible. And this only happens when we are using Google authentication, right? And it's only for Android. So once you go to your Android, you click on this add fingerprint and you add it. So I'm going to click on this help icon, and you see this page. It's going to open a new screen for us. So just scroll down a little bit and you will see one to get debug certificate fingerprint. So copy it. This one is to get release certificate fingerprint in case you want to share APK with somebody. So inside here, I'm going to go down to our terminal, paste this. So it's asking for a password. So the default password is Android. So I'm just going to type Android and enter. It's going to give us a key. We can just copy this key, go back to our project. Okay. So right here, I'm going to add fingerprint, paste this, right, and save it. So if everything is okay, it's going to show a good check. New certificate fingerprint added. Cool. That's we have successfully integrated that. Okay. So we can move on now to enable the other services that is needed, which is the Firebase Firestore and the Firebase Cloud Storage. So wait for it to load, just a little second. Then you create database, right? And click next. Start in production mode actually. All right, it's opening, and you can see our database is ready to go, but no data. So I normally like setting rules for this. I always update the rules to true, okay, and publish it. Once that is done, we are going to go back to our storage, and we are also going to do the same thing for storage. First, get started, start in production mode, done. All right, we'll go back to our rules. And in the rules, we are also going to update that as well. All right, publish. Now we are good. I think almost good to go. What else is left? I don't think anything is remaining. I think the only thing remaining is in our main.dat, because we need to like register the stuff. So let's go to our main.dat here. So inside here, I will go to main.dat because I need to register the, okay. So I normally remove all the app whenever I'm starting a new project, right? So we have void main, okay. So right here, what I'm going to do is to register the Firebase app, okay. So we just straightforward something. So we have our widgets Flutter binding, right? Dot ensure initialize, and after that we can now call await Firebase. Hold on, this needs to show, okay, from the Firebase call Firebase dot initialize app. Then inside here we have the options as a parameter. Then we have the name parameter, so we can now add the default Firebase options dot current platform. Cool. That's pretty much everything we need for that guy. And let me just quickly add this guy, and we'll just call it my app. Okay, and here we can just call run app, and we'll call this my app. Okay, cool. This is pretty much okay. One other thing is remaining. Let's just return material app. Okay, so once this is done, we can just leave it as it is. Then later in the next section, we are going to do other things, and we can start our implementation and everything that is needed. Thank you guys for watching.